in the media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is COVID returns, impact on MSME. But before I will go on the main topic, I would like to inform you that today we are celebrating the World Environment Day. World Environment Day is observed every year on 5th June. The environment is a major issue which not only affects the well-being of the people but also hampers economic development throughout the world. First held in 1974, it has been a platform for raising awareness on environmental issues such as marine pollution, human overpopulation, global warming, sustainable consumption, and wildlife crime. World Environment Day is a global platform for public outreach with participation from over 143 countries annually. Each year, the program has provided a theme and forum for businesses, non-government organizations, communities, governments, and celebrities to advocate environmental causes. The theme of World Environment Day 2021 is Ecosystem Restoration. Media conference with Lal Goyal wishes you a very happy Environment Day. Now coming to the main topic, and the topic is COVID returns impact on MSME. The Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, a branch of the Government of India, is the apex executive body for the formulation and administration of rules, regulations and laws relating to micro, small and medium enterprises, MSME in India. India has 6.33 crores MSMEs, out of which 6.30 crore, that is 99.4%, are micro enterprises, while 0.52%, that is 3.31 lakhs, are medium, and 0.007%, that is 5,000, are medium enterprises, according to the MSME Ministry's Annual Report 2020-2021. MSME is one of the major pillars of the Indian economy, is an established fact due to their immense contribution to employment, national income, and exports. Their contribution in terms of innovations is hardly measured at the national level and therefore goes largely unnoticed. The unexpected engulfing of the global economy by coronavirus jolted the Indian economy as well as its MSMEs. The COVID-19 first wave and the national lockdown implemented to contain it during March to May 2020 gave an unprecedented blow to this vibrant sector. It had otherwise got accustomed to emerge and work continuously under constraints and challenges of various kinds, the most important being first assessing finance in the right quantity and at the right time, second, attracting and retaining qualified workforce, and third, penetrating regional, national, and international markets. The emergence of the COVID-19 second wave is equally unexpected, for which the sector is ill-prepared, as it has hardly recovered from the blow received from the first wave. The second wave of COVID-19 is likely to make a devastating impact on the MSME sector in India, which has become fragile due to the onslaught of COVID-19 first wave. This is so despite its known merits such as flexibility, adaptability, simple organizational structure, effective internal communication between owner and employee, etc. However, national and cross-country data suggest that relative to large firms, MSMEs have lower productivity and wage levels, more often comprising obsolete technology and unskilled or semi-skilled labor, and therefore more vulnerable to supply and demand shocks. COVID-19 first wave and second wave both have preciously generated supply as well as demand shocks to MSMEs. A description of these shocks is appropriate to understand the complexity of the problems encountered by Indian MSMEs. As a prelude, it is important to understand the nature and structure of MSMEs in India in terms of their end market relationship. A major proportion of MSME serves B2C markets, followed by B2B markets, and a minority accounts for a combination of both B2C and B2B markets. In general, B2C MSMEs are more fragile, often cash-starved, comprise obsolete technology with unskilled or semi-skilled labor, dispersed across the country in metros, cities, towns, and villages. They invariably make use of local resources, local skills, and meet local needs. On the contrary, B2B MSMEs are either metro or city-based or located around large firms, often supported by the latter in terms of markets, finance, technology, technical inputs, and even human resources. Therefore, they are better equipped with technology, skilled labor, and relatively established markets. The B2C cum B2B MSMEs often fall in the second category. A major proportion of B2C MSMEs operates in the informal sector irrespective of their location. In rural India, they are largely owned account enterprises, household enterprises. The economic census of our country throws light on the magnitude of own account enterprises in terms of the number of enterprises and employment. Therefore, assessing the impact of COVID-19 on SMEs is done either by ignoring this segment altogether or based on a guesswork. Of course, we do not have any periodical data gathering exercise even for larger formal registered MSMEs, excluding SSI or MSME census. The latest one was done in 2005-2006. Given this, the only option for an assessment of the impact of COVID-19 is field survey or interviews. However, it is possible to gauge the likely impact if one can understand the possible supply and demand shocks that emerge from the COVID-19 crisis. Over 82% of more than 250 small businesses in India said that they had a negative COVID impact, while 70% believed their pre-COVID level recovery to take nearly a year, according to a survey by Dun and Bradstreet. Moreover, around 60% survey respondents expected more measures and support from the government, even as lack of market access, 42%, overall productivity improvement, 37%, and access to more finance, 37%, were the top three challenges cited by MSMEs in the survey titled Impact of COVID-19 on Small Businesses in India and the Way Ahead. The surveyed businesses in 7 major cities belong to the manufacturing and service sectors with annual revenue between rupees 100 crores and rupees 300 crores. Now, when we are talking about the COVID returns, why we are saying COVID returns? Because yesterday on 4th June 2021, India registered 1,21,457 new cases of coronavirus, which has taken the country's cumulative tally past 2 crores 86 lakhs 93,000 cases. Yesterday, 3,382 lost their life, thus total death due to corona raised to 3,44,101. According to health officials, although to be very frank, I cannot vouch for this figure because this is an official figure released by the government, but what media, national and international media projects that the figures are far, far more as far as the debt, total debt and total the yesterday's debts are concerned. So I am not vouching for both the figures. Whatsoever the figures the viewers want to take, that is their prerogative. Now, according to health officials, India has administered 22 crores 41 lakhs 9,448 vaccines doses across the country as of yesterday, 4th June 2021. Now, this figure, the average is about 27-28 lakhs vaccines per day, while the target fixed by the government is to complete the entire population of the country, that is the eligible, that is about 100 crore people. So we require about 200 crore doses. Now, if we require 200 crore doses or the 200 vaccines to be administered, we are almost approximately 11% till now. So long way ahead. But government is very hopeful. So we also keep faith, and let's hope that we all will be vaccinated before the year end, so that we will not face third or fourth or fifth phases of COVID-19. Now, coming to the topic again, COVID returns impact on MSME. Today we have a very elite, knowledgeable, experienced, and those who are authority in the field panelist with us. I would like to invite my first panelist, and he is Professor Dr. R. Gopal. Professor Dr. R. Gopal is the director and head of the department, D.Y. Patil University. He is the former dean, D.Y. Patil University School of Management. He is basically an engineer from IIT Kharagpur in mechanical engineering. He is also MBA, ICWA, PhD, and postdoctoral research degree, DLIT. He is also the member board of management of the Ajankya D.Y. Patil University. He has more than 27 years of corporate experience with Bush India Limited, L&T, Tata Economic Consultancy Services, and Siemens. Additionally, he has more than 30 years of teaching experience in various business schools in and around Mumbai in the areas of marketing, finance, and general management, etc. He was the visiting faculty in several B schools in USA. In the USA, he has conducted several programs on topics like how to do business in India. He has also published more than 200 research papers, both in Indian and foreign journals. He has been awarded the Best Outstanding Research Paper at the Asia Pacific Marketing Conference held at Malaysia. He is also a reviewer to several international journals having a high impact factor. He is the guide for MPhil and PhD students of several universities in India. More than 100 research scholars have received their PhD and MPhil degree under his guidance. He is also the author of several books and is the chief editor to several national and international journals of repute. Dr. R. Gopal is the recipient of several national and international awards such as Rashtriya Vidya Saraswati Puruskar, Rashtriya Vikas Ratan Award, Glory of India Award, Rajiv Gandhi Education Excellence Award, Best Teacher Award, Best Management Teacher Award, Educationist Award, Star of Asia Award, and many, many more. Welcome, Professor Dr. R. Gopal on our show. Professor Dr. R. Gopal, as you know, the COVID-19 has impacted the MSME, but this COVID return has impacted far more as far as the health is concerned. But what impact on MSME, that we would like to know from you. COVID returns impact on MSME. Professor Dr. R. Gopal, please.
Thank you, sir. And good morning to Lal sir, Dr. Indrajit Ghosh, Dr. Jain, all those well-wishers who are viewing this program on Global TV, V4 News, Facebook, etc. The topic for today's discussion, in my opinion, is a very important one, and that is COVID returns impact on MSME. As Dr. Lal Saab explained, the MSME sector is one of the very important sectors.
One moment, please. 1 moment, please.
74396.
Yes, please go ahead. Sorry.
So the MSME sector is one of the very important sectors. It's a sector which is contributing to almost 30% of the GDP. And is one of the sectors which employs almost 11 crore employees. 80 to 85% of the MSMEs are self-financed, and only a small percentage of MSMEs obtain their finances from the banks. The sector has a capital to output ratio and a capital to labor ratio lower than the big units, thereby providing better employment. Demographically, it is spread evenly between urban and rural areas, and the bulk is located in Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Women contribute around 20% of the entire MSMEs. MSME sector has hit all the sectors which are there, including agriculture, biotechnology, pharma products, especially the APIs, defense products, example, drones and other products for DRDO, BEL, etc. E-commerce, IT and BPO, reality sectors like the brokers and the middlemen in the reality sector. In May 2020, the Government of India modified the definition of MSME. And very interestingly, 99% of the 633 lakh MSMEs are small units and micro units. And as Mr. Lal mentioned, 99% of the employees are accounted by the micro units. That the average employment per MSME is around 2 employees per MSME. As per the government sector, as per the government analysis and the CMI, the unemployment index has jumped from 8% in 2020 to around 11.9% in 2021. And more than 24 crore people have been pushed to below the poverty line. And this, in my opinion, is primarily because of the challenges faced by the MSME sector. 95% of the MSME sectors are not registered with the government, nor with the EPF. And since 1/4/2021, the GST registration has been mandatory. What are the issues involved? COVID-19 wave 1 was a big disaster for the MSME. And from January 2021 till March 2021, the MSME sector showed some positive signs, but then this was short-sighted. Demonetization and improper GST implementation broke the back of the MSME. %95 of the MSMEs are not registered with the statutory authorities and therefore do not get the benefit of the GST. And therefore, medium and large units are hesitant to buy from these micro units, mainly because the GST forms are not available and the accounts are also not maintained. Taxes are also not paid. The biggest issue is the lack of finance. 80% of the MSMEs are self-financed and borrow from the unorganized market. And because of which, many of the units, 99% of the units are small units, micro units, with no mortgageable assets, and therefore bank loans are also becoming difficult. And they have to therefore borrow from the informal sector, paying high interest costs. There has been a considerable amount of demand reduction. And because, as you have rightly pointed out, many of the units supply to B2B, and very few go down to the B2C area. Cash shortage, working capital management, inventory management has been the major concern. Adherence to the various quality standards of different countries, including India, and documentation is another major area. And why this is important is because 45% of the exports of non-oil exports are contributed by the MSME sector. And the most important thing is, many of the MSME sectors are not aware of the government schemes that are available to help them. I did a small study and I identified certain areas which are open to all MSMEs. First area is API. And this is the pharma intermediary products, because we imported almost $70 billion of chemicals or APIs from China as on 2019. And prior to 4-5 years ago, these products were manufactured by the MSMEs and supplied to the large chemical units or large pharmaceutical units. And the Chinese, with their low cost, have overtaken this exactly on the same lines as the electrical decorative lamps or the Diwali crackers. Second, PSUs have all, talked about, as per the government notification, are now talking about product imports. IT and BPO is third area, which is very, very critical. And there are a large number of small micro units which are in the IT and BPO sector. Typically, if I, coming from the education sector, would like to show you, for example, as per the NEP 2020, a large number of people require to go in for their PhD, and they are very weak in the statistics. And there are a large number of single owner statisticians who offer their services to the PhD researchers and help them in their statistics work. My own students have jumped into areas like business data analytics, especially in the area of marketing, customer satisfaction, etc. And for which there are hardly any mortgageable assets, excepting perhaps a table and a chair and maybe 1 or 2 desktops or laptops. E-commerce is another area which is largely open, especially in the area of digital apps or logistics and food supplies. Very important. Training in the light of the new normal which has been caused by wave 2. And this training is not restricted only to corporate personnel in the hard skill areas, but is also moving into the area of soft skills, for example, in the area of happiness, wellness, stress busters, etc. Many of the medium and large units need market research, strategy development, and funding requirements. These are the areas which are open. What can be done to mitigate the challenges of this important sector, which is contributing to almost 30% of the GDP? And I want to split the answer to this question into 3 parts. Macro level strategies for the medium size, and strategies for the micro and small size units. At the macro level, it's very important that there should be an awareness campaign targeting the micro and small sectors regarding the various schemes available from the government. Inject liquidity into the MSME sector, because many of them are financed by the unorganized sector. When I talk to many of the street vendors, for example, the government of India had sanctioned 10,000 rupees under the street vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi scheme of rupees 10,000 each. Many of them were unaware of such a scheme. And even the banks, many of the banks were not willing to offer this because they were afraid of the NPAs. At the macro level, I would prefer that the government does some amount of direct payment on lines similar to those given to the farmers and the rural people in the micro and small unit. And why do I say this? This could spur the demand for consumer goods, which should have a multiplier effect, and thus spur the life of the micro and small sector. The reality sector is one of the very, very important sectors. And there we find there are a large number of brokers and middlemen who are today becoming completely out of market. So can we support them in some form? Pre and post of shipment credit terms, movement from basic manufacturing up the value chain. Many virologists have been talking about wave 3, wave 4, etc. And the government of India there is a need to prepare for this. And this wave 3, wave 4 is expected to come down somewhere in the month of October, November, December. And the government of India has to prepare for this through the buildup of infrastructural health requirements. For example, building of ICU beds, building of oxygen, liquid oxygen infrastructure, etc., etc. In all of this, the MSMEs have a major role to play. When I spoke to many of the MSMEs, especially the smaller ones, there was a very, very important, and that is fear psychosis among them. They were saying, what would happen? Kya hoga mujhe pata nahi hai. Maybe it is time that we also talk in terms of vaccinating and preventing people, creating an awareness as to avoid vaccine hesitancy. At the micro level, for the medium-sized units, there is a need to reduce your cost. And it is the medium-sized units which can go global. But for global, you need to have a proper documentation and meeting the standards of the global market. Move towards digital ways of operating business. This is very important for the medium-sized units. Innovations, R&D, GMP are something which is very, very critical. And for the 95% of the MSMEs, basically the micro and small size units, it is imperative that these units must register themselves. Resilience, marketing, and strategic thinking are the key. Most important, most of the micro unit feel that their product is the best that would sell on their own without any marketing or strategic support, which is not true. Documentation is a big area for these small and micro units, and for which some sort of a training is required. But then there is a large amount of hesitancy in these areas. Another important area is the funding. And I'm not talking about the funding to a medium-sized unit, because the medium-sized units are already aware. But I'm talking of funding for the micro and small-scale units where they do not have any mortgageable assets. For example, if somebody is in the digital space, they do not have any mortgageable assets, and therefore there's difficulty in getting funds. And since many of these units are basically unorganized, family businesses, there is a need to weed them away from the unorganized financial markets and make them aware of the government schemes. So these are some of these, strategies that need to be followed both at the macro level for medium and for the micro, and micro and small scale units. And I think if we do this, there is a very good chance that the MSME sectors will grow rapidly and come back to the previous levels, even pro-COVID-19 area. Thank you for patient listening, and God bless all of you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. R. Gopal, for giving your views. According to Professor Dr. R. Gopal, this second wave, that is the COVID return, has impacted far more than the COVID-19. And because he says, although the government has come out with a stimulus package and they have given the package to MSMEs as well as to the street vendors, but how much it has reached to them is a questionable thing, because he says many times the people were not aware about the packages, or even they were not being given cooperation from the bank people. So according to him, all these types of difficulties were faced. But now, because the government has already put a embargo on the Chinese import, hence the chances are there. And he is very hopeful, Professor Dr. Gopal is very hopeful that post-COVID, the MSMEs will rebound and will do a very good business. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. R. Gopal, for giving your views. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Dr. Indrajit Ghosh. Dr. Indrajit Ghosh is the chairman of MSME, Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India. He is a mechanical engineer He has done MBA from Institute of Management Technology, IMT Ghaziabad, and MBA, and also the MBA from International Business Management Institute, Berlin, Germany. He has completed the diplomas from IBM Institute, Berlin, Germany in business management, sustainable management, and global governance. He also studied at Circular Asia, Malaysia, Metropolitan School of Business Management, London, UK, Harvard Business School, Boston, USA. He was honored by UNRSI, Sweden, by awarding honorary doctorate for social work. He was again honored by second honorary doctorate in humanities by University from France. He is having 34 years of corporate experience and experience in packaging, recycling, waste management, social work, human rights, global peace and tree plantation, and 10 years on renewable energy, biogas, environment, climate change, pollution control, smart cities, startups, water conservation, corporate social responsibility, CSR, circular economy, EPR, etc. He is having vast experience in DGS and D, MES, CPWD, PWD, university, and other various government departments, industries, corporates, and import and exports. He has published in 2009-2010 reports on BOPP films scenario, Indian BOPP film scenario, and on global flexible packaging. He has spoken nationally and internationally on different forums. He won 200 plus national and international awards. He is on the board of several corporates. He is also advisor to many reputed organizations. His profile is so long. If I will start reading each and everything, it will consume the entire program. But one can understand the way he has won so many on the board of several reputed companies of India. You are the best person to give the insight of the MSME. So COVID returns impact on MSME. Dr. Indrajit Ghosh, please.
COVID has a very big impact on MSME industries, particularly on the second wave. Because everybody knows in the first wave, in the last April, May, June 2020, 12 crore people have lost their job. And in November also, approximately another 1 crore people have lost their job. And in April and May 2021, 1.2 crore people again lost their job. So, 14, 15 crores of people have lost their job. And you can imagine, every family is having 2 children approximately. So into 4 means, 56 crores people are ideal out of 130 crores in a country. So it is a very pathetic situation as on today. And just a small incident, I'm highlighting how the people are reacting in the market. In a bank, somebody has not able to give only 1 month EMI. It was shown in the TV yesterday. The bank official has started beating the person inside the bank. So the situation is so horrible in every place where nobody have any patience. So this is the situation as on today. But once the pandemic, this type of pandemic is coming in 100 years, and it's what you can say destroyed a lot of things, and simultaneously it creates a lot of opportunities also. If you will see in the last April, May, June, we got a consignment from China regarding PPE kit, sanitizer, and ventilator, which was so bad. Where India has returned that total consignment to China again. And at that point of time, our Prime Minister was asking all the MSMEs, all the larger companies, PSUs like Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, and the company like Maruti, why don't you make PPE kit and all these ventilators and other products, and you will be very happy. Today, 118 companies are producing this PPE kit and ventilator in India, and we have already supplied 154 countries during the last 8 months, and we are the second largest supplier of these products in the whole world. So, MSME and mediocre larger industries in India, they can make anything. Only, the push is required, because a lot of MSME companies, the most lacking is they don't know the documentation, they don't go to the portal of MSME to know what is going on, what schemes government of India is giving. We don't know anything. As a chamber, we are regularly and continuously making the awareness program for the MSME people, to know, to help them, how to grow. And according to me, this whatever the pandemic situation we have today, it creates lots of opportunities because we have already contacted, in touch with 14 companies from South Korea, Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, US, London, and Australia. They want to put, a factory in India in different subjects, different sectors. And once the flights will start, they will come to India, register their name, and start the operation. And as a chamber, we are helping them, from taking the land, and even funding is also required. That is also we are providing, and the manpower, skill, labor, and manpower. That is also the chamber is going to help them, help the whoever is putting the plant in India. As the moment they will put the factory in India, it is an Atmanirbhar project, which is our Prime Minister's dream. And on this contest, I will say, there is a rail line is coming up from Delhi to Bombay through the rural areas. It was shorter by 220 kilometers. So what government of it was previously given to China. Now, due to the political, situation, we canceled the order to China and given to other company. And that rail line is touching, 5 states like Delhi, Haryana, MP, Gujarat, and Maharashtra. So in one side of the line, the government of India wants to make, smart villages or smart cities, you can say. And on the other side, they are planning, to make industrial park, like, logistic park, automobile park, food and beverages park, recycling park, food, FMCG park, and so on, pharmaceuticals and healthcare park. So this is a very big opportunity for the Indian MSME and SMEs as well as the foreign companies to come and take the land in those places in a very cheap rate, because both the places are nowadays it is a very inside the rural areas and jungles, so the prices are very competitive. Whatever price you will buy land in Mumbai, Delhi, or metro cities, you can buy on the same price 4 times land in that area. So we are continuously working with that. We are working also with a German company who are also coming up to put up a very big plant. They are already in India. They have their plant in India. But again, their expansion is coming up in 22. So we are helping them as a chamber, to support, to put up the plant and start the, our main interest, up to the starting the plant, that we will help the industries. And after that, they and the government, they will, meet each other, and whatever the development in future, if anywhere, required by MSME chamber, we are always ready to help. And another, as a MSME chamber, we are helping in several ways to MSME industries to 65 to 70% and 30% for the larger industries. Because if you would not serve the larger industries, then you cannot do the conferences, exhibitions, awards, and all these. You cannot run a chamber, big chamber like us. Fortunately, we are having 13 offices in India at present and 44 offices in abroad. We are working on 53 sectors. Plastics, packaging, automobile, electronics, all types of recycling, water conservation, renewable energy, biogas, EPR, CSR, circular economy, artificial intelligence, startups, healthcare and pharmaceuticals, FMCG, food and beverages, cyber security, plantation, handicaps, and it's all these sectors we are covering at present, and all the 53 sectors are headed by a 53 vice president who will take care of their industry globally, make them our member, and also help them to solve their issues. And any issues to be addressed to PMO and central ministry, that I personally take care of that. Other people are not able to do that. That lacking work, I am doing directly. So we are helping the industries in that way. Secondly, we are doing large, global conferences, exhibitions, and award functions, in India and in abroad. In India, we are doing at present in Delhi, Vigyan Bhavan, and in Dubai, January end 2022, and on June 2022, we are going to do in London. We are doing approximately 4 to 6, conferences in a year, which will increase drastically because of to power up all the sectors one by one. And in the conference, we are calling basically the ministers of the respective products and government lawmakers like, joint secretary, chairman, director, and the organization and association across the world. So that one platform, we can discuss, what are the problems the industry is facing and what are the problems government is also having on their way. So, everything cannot be discussed in 4 days or in 3 days, during the conference. But, at the tea time, at the, lunch time, dinner time, you can exchange your cards and you can take an appointment and go there and express the issue. And as a chamber, if you want, anywhere to, you require the chamber to push to the government, we are always ready to do that, and we are continuously doing that. And opportunity, one thing is definitely there are a lot of, distress during the last few months after particularly in the second pandemic. But there are lots of opportunities are also coming. These are 15 crores people, which are ideal, according to us, we are predicting by November, December, there are, almost more than 50% people will get back to the job again. Because once this, what we are expecting from July to November, these 5-6 months, the working will be there. Again, third wave is expected in December. So again, 3-4 months, you will not able to do anything. And by 22 June onwards, maybe the market will open in a larger way, and other people will also get the job. Because once the foreign companies are coming to India, definitely the job creation will be there. And another thing we are, going to support the MSME, SME industries, as well as the industries between 500 to 2,000 crore turnover. On 30th of August, we are requesting 20 ambassadors and their industrial ministers from their country to give a presentation to our 300 and 400 MSME, SMEs and the larger industries. If these people will go to put up the plant in the 53 Commonwealth countries, where the African countries are there in a huge number, so that what are the benefits and advantages the government is giving, their government is giving to our MSME and SMEs. So it is a very big platform, because for the SMEs and MSMEs to put up a factory abroad is a very rare case. They don't know even the documentation for exports in India. So how can they put up the plant in abroad? So we are helping them through the embassies, through their country's ministry, to put up the plant in their company, in their country, and take few people from 10 people from India and 10 to 15 people from their country to start a project, 20-25% to start with. And in Africa, there is no manufacturing unit for pipe, tank, sanitary wire, cables, nothing. They are not producing anything. They are importing from different countries at a very higher price. So once you put up the factory in any of the African countries like Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, Zambia, in this type of places, you can cover the entire 54 African countries. So your company will be becoming big, within 2 years' time. So you can put another people you can take from there. This is the way job creation or job opportunities creation. This is also our main motto of the chamber, to create jobs nationally and internationally. So we are helping go in those front also, MSME and SMEs who are approximately 100 crore plus. We are encouraging those people, because if you are a strength of the 100 crore plus the surplus money you have, then you can only put up a plant in abroad. So we are basically helping the 100 crore plus people, and 500 to 2,000 crore larger industries also can come and put up the plant there. So there are a lot of plenty and opportunities. Now in the relationship of China, once the relationship is not working now, and not only with us, with the entire world with China, so a lot of people will leave China, and if anybody in the whole world can replace China, it is not a one-day job. It will take 5 to 10 years time. But if you can, anybody can replace China, that is only India. Because out of 750 crores the entire world, 300 crores is India and China. So almost 40-45% of the population is in those two countries. So if anybody can replace, that can be India, as well as certain other countries like Vietnam, Bangladesh for textiles, and Indonesia also is coming forward. These are the places where the industry will grow drastically between 21 to 30. So ample opportunities for the MSME and SME industries, and government is also helping with the funds. But actually, as a chamber, what we are doing now, to take the funds from the government, there are a lot of hazards, a lot of rules and regulations are there, because previously the experience was not good by the government. Wherever the government has given money, the MSME industries, half of the MSME industries not return the money, and go BIR and close the plant, and they said, we cannot return the money. So that's why Government of India is very, very cautious. As a chamber, we are helping the industries from the government funding, as well as there are lots of private funding from the bank, which we also are offering to them, and in a very low interest rate. And government is giving approximately 8.5% interest, and now we are giving, from the private organization to 10% or 11% of interest. They can take money and they can start their work. In other schemes, we have, for the MSME and SME, small MSME and SME startups, we can give you, if you have only a company, then we can give you 10 lakhs of loan to startup. And if you have land, then we can give you 15 lakhs. And if you have any building of office or, in factory, then we can give 25 lakhs. This amount is 6 months holiday. You will never, you will not pay 6 months, any what you can say, installment. The installment will start after 6 months, 7 months onwards. And this is, 15% subsidy is Government of India is giving out of that. Suppose you are taking 25 lakhs, you have to return 21.25 lakhs. So that is also government is helping, and they are also giving a 6 months time to stand and then return the money. So that help, we can do. We are only doing those things very practically. Who is our members? Basically, there are 7 crores MSME and SMEs in India. We cannot service 7 crore people. Neither the Government of India, neither we have that details of 7 crore companies. Nobody knows, who are, even the Government of India doesn't know, who is their member or who is not their member. So they have started, started making the list. We have also started making the list. We have already, approximately 20 to 30,000 of MSMEs and MSMEs details in at present, and our people are already working on that day and night to find out, how we can reach, 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore, MSME, whoever are working in a working condition, so that we can, make our base larger and to help them, to grow and to join us. Even we are also with IIFT, we are also doing a lot of awareness program for the exports documentation, so that, certain MSMEs are making good products, quality products, which can be sold in abroad also. But since they don't know the documentation, so they never try. So we are, giving the details how to, make the documentation, how to do the exports. So that is also we are helping to the MSME and SME industries. And whoever is, one thing is very clear: government will help you, we will also help you, but you have to come forward. You have to take your own interest, with passion of 100%, then only you can grow. But if you will say the government will fund or we will fund and you will automatically grow, all responsibility is ours, then you cannot grow. So the industry has to also understand, instead of, always giving a negative impact of, government is not doing anything, or the chamber is also not doing anything. It is not like that. Those people today, I can tell you very gracefully, we are not appealing to anyone for taking our membership. The entire world, we are getting the membership from entire world. They came to know what we are doing. They go through our websites. They have spoken to other industries, whoever our member, and they are coming forward to take the membership, because we are not that type of membership, we will take them. There are thousands of MSME chambers, in India, but very few, people are in a working condition. So even the government is also calling CII, FICCI, ASSOCHAM, and PhD, and they are also started calling us also, and in plastics, in APMA also, in certain other associations, to give the suggestions, whatever they are going to do. There are a lot of things we are working, like in the GST recycle product. There are 18% GST government is charging. So we have already spoken to all chambers have requested, spoken to the government also, how come a person can give a recycled product for 18% GST. So they have agreed now, and very soon the GST will be abolished in 18%. Or they will charge 5% of the GST for the larger manufacturers of certain crores of turnover plus. They will charge 5%, and for others for 0. These are the things we are working. Even in the single-use plastic committee also we are there. So there also we are working relentlessly, to shape up, the 22 onwards, the single use to be closed in a lot of Single use basically क्या है कि if you will take the European specification, American specification, there are 44 products coming in single use. But in India, it is only 10, 12 products. So that is also to be explained to the government, and it is very difficult also sometimes for us because whoever is the minister, they don't have any idea on the same product. They have their different backgrounds. So to make them aware, आप ये भी नहीं कह सकते कि आपको मालूम नहीं है. तो we have to speak to them in a very polite way and to suggestion. These are the things, if you can implement, so it will be better for the industry. And India is a very big country, and it is not easy to change everything overnight. But we are working for the last few years, so very interesting. But one thing I can assure you, this government is responding in all, at least in all departments. They are also interested to modify the things, for a better business, because we are also working to the government. Why we are taking 6 months time to make give a license to the industry to put up the plant. In foreign companies, they will never wait to 6 months to get a license. So we are working with them to please make this license of maximum 21 days, because somebody is going to CPCB for some approval. They're going to commercial industry for certain other approval. We are requesting the government all approvals only one single entry, so that by 21 days whoever will apply, if all the papers are correct, then we can give the license to them. So a lot of changes are coming, but it will take some time. So in this is the way we are helping the MSME and SME industries, and I can tell you is a golden period for MSME and SMEs in 2021 to 2030. Those who are very, what you can say, hardworking people with passion and want to achieve certain things in life, that MSME will grow. There are plenty of problems. It's fine, but there are plenty of opportunity also. So we have to see, the plus points, not the minus points. Where you cannot do anything, there is no point of thinking and wasting time. Where you can do something in future positively, turn your head or brain on that and how to grow, and then start working, and then they will grow very fast. There are a lot of good industries in MSME are doing very good job.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ghosh, for giving the details about the MSMEs, the total details, and what Dr. Ghosh has enlightened us that about although 15 crores jobs have lost, but he says the Indian Railways is coming out with a very good project where they are laying down a railway line from Delhi to Mumbai, which will be shortening the distance of more than 200 kilometers. And both the sides of the tracks, the government wants to develop the smart villages, the smart cities, and other industries. So he says there's a right opportunity to invest the monies on those lands and try to start the industries there. He has also mentioned about the relationship with the China. He says about the China, that China, earlier we were doing all the businesses with China, but because of the China cutoff, we have an opportunity to replace China, because the India is the only country which can replace the China in a very big way. He has also explained all the MSMEs program, how they are coordinating with the government day and night and see to it the MSMEs will get the advantage of it. He has also mentioned that the government funds are difficult to get, but they have also tied up with the private banks, etc., and they are giving the funds to the MSMEs, and the government is also subsidizing that funds. And he has given all the details, very, very positive points. He says this is a golden time for the MSMEs. I have some questions. Are you going to stay up to 11:55? Then I will come in the next round after I will take the next speaker, Mr. R.K. Jain, or you want to go?
I want to leave because
so I have some questions. Okay, I have some. Okay, Mr. Jain, can I ask him some questions? Okay,
please go ahead.
Okay, so my question to you first is, do you agree, Dr. Ghosh, that the first stimulus failed to give any help to majority of MSMEs? The first stimulus, which was given by the government of India as Atmanirbhar Bharat, failed to help majority of MSMEs.
Yes. Obviously, government is coming forward to help them. मैंने आपको बताया ना कि the industries who wants to grow, they have to come forward and take the initiative, because होता क्या है कि everybody is listening to webinars and conferences, seminars, and they are not tapping the right channel. And after some time, the negativity comes कि कुछ हो तो नहीं रहा है, government कुछ help कर नहीं रहा है, हमारे को पता नहीं कैसे होगा. So these are the things, people, because they don't want to explore. You have to work on it because you have to stand your company single-handedly. The government is always ready to help. Who will come forward to the government and the chamber? We are ready to help, but you have to come forward.
No, that's true. No, you are right, Dr. Ghosh, but the perception is, or the fact is, that the many MSMEs are not getting the loan or the facilities which government has provided in the first stimulus, which they are entitled, because either the lack of information, as Professor Gopal says, or the attitude of the banks that they are not releasing those funds to the MSMEs which they require.
Actually, they are first, it was total, misconception for the 2 months. First 2 months after announcing 20 lakh crore, to the MSMEs, because Government of India said it will be given without collateral. So the 65,000 applications on the next day came to government कि हमारे को loan दीजिए. But one has to understand, bank is saying, how can we give the loan without collateral? Because you are an MSME company. Suppose you take 1 crore, and after 6 months or 1 year you said you will not be able to return, and the whatever plan and planning I was there, it is exhausted, and now I'm closing down the company. So bank is saying, from where we will recover the money? MSME will give you the money? No. So they are not ready to give without collateral. Then the second stage with the government and the bank, we sit together, and then it was discussed. Okay, those people who are 50 crore plus, you can give certain money to them because they are already in the business. They want to grow, so they need money. So those people who are already established and already done something, support them first. And those who are absolutely new, there you should give limitations of 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 25 lakhs to start with. And after that, if they are paying on the right time in 1 year, again, we will give you 25 lakhs. Don't worry.
Okay. So now yes, I got the point. Now, the second thing is, why not like other countries where there is no component of loan? They have given the money directly to the entrepreneurs, the MSMEs, to pay to the salaries to the staff in like UK or in USA. Why? Or USA has given the unemployment funds, but in UK they have given about 80% of the salaries which any small scale industry was paying there, those who were closed by the lockdown. Why not that thing has come to India? Why we have termed it as a loan? Because we all know that is going to be NPA, many of them.
You are right, but to differ with the other countries, because whether it is Europe or America or anywhere, they are all small countries. They are helping the people in that way. But in our country, there is such a huge volume of people. Just understand, a few days back, Prime Minister has given 2,000 rupees to the farmers' account directly. You know how many crores the government of India have spent? Huge. So, 2,000 rupees.
But Dr. Ghosh, the counter arguments which people says that how much write-off you have done for the big industrialists, why you are not giving the funds to MSMEs or the farmers when so much amount has been given to the big corporates at the write-off for them.
You are absolutely right. That is the issue. But then the politics comes. As a chamber, we cannot ask the government to know why you are not doing this.
Okay. Now the last question to you is, before you leave, will you agree that MSMEs were suffering even in pre-COVID time due to demonetization and wrong implementation of GST?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, everybody knows. There is no use of asking anybody this question. Everybody knows on their own. But, government will not agree about that since they have done it. But ultimately, जो हमारा मकसद था ब्लैक मनी वापस लाने का, वो तो आया नहीं. जितना अपना पैसा था उतना पैसा आपका नंबर 2 से नंबर 1 हो गया. That's all. Nothing else. And उसमें भी कोई बेनिफिट नहीं हुई और GST में भी कोई बेनिफिट नहीं है. GST में तो इतना कंफ्यूजन है. You are charging GST everywhere. 18%. पहले तो 28% GST आप चार्ज कर रहे थे, जो मतलब बिल्कुल ही सोचने की बाहर है. Now it is 18% and 12%. It has to go off also a little bit. It should not more than 5% or so in future. Otherwise, industry will not survive. Government has to understand that the basic problem is, I am also, industry advisory board member at various universities and business schools, IIT, IIM. we are giving a lecture to the students, how to make them industry friendly. During that time, we also asked the students, the day the students will not come forward from IIT, IIM, business schools and top class universities to the politics, nothing will happen. Because, you know, out of 540 MP, there are 350 MP who is having, you know, dacoity and rape cases against them. So out of the 50% more people in the MP level is you know having this case against them. तो आप क्या expect कर सकते हो उन लोगों से कि आपके लिए वो काम करेंगे, रास्ता बनाएंगे, आपके education का देखेंगे, healthcare का देखेंगे. You cannot expect like that. But these are the things are debating, and you cannot debate everywhere in these things. But this is the reality. That जब तक आपके पास पढ़े लिखे आदमी नहीं आएंगे, आज आप देखिए ना जो भी मिनिस्ट्री आपका काफी अच्छा काम कर रहा है, एनवायरमेंट इज डूइंग वेरी वेरी गुड. अपना नितिन गडकरी यू नो गवर्नमेंट sorry in sectors is also doing good. Why? Because certain ministers, they are educated, they are traveling also abroad quite a few times to see, you know, how the other governments are implementing different things. आप देखो साइनेज जो है, छोटा सा चीज आपको बताता हूँ, आज जो साइनेज आप देख रहे हो इंडिया में, these all signage came from Europe and US. These signage they have, you know, 50 years back there. So after seeing that, after attending certain seminars and conferences abroad, these ministers have started implementing. Because क्या होता है कि आपके जो मिनिस्टर यहाँ पे काम कर रहे हैं, पहले वाले 2 साल जो है उनको कुछ नहीं पता अपने डिपार्टमेंट के बारे में. The IAS is giving a, you know, backup support to the minister. This you can do, this you cannot do. Then after 2 years of time, when they are able to learn, then another next 3 years they are working. And after 3 years, either the government change or the minister change. I can give a small example. We have trained Dr. Harshvardhan, you know, in environment for the last 5 years. Now this year, next 5 years, it is Prakash Javadekar ji. Now again, you have to go through the same process, because he is not a person of environment. Neither Dr. Harshvardhan was a person of environment, but the portfolio they are holding, tourism minister जो है उनको tourism के बारे में कोई idea नहीं है, because never he has worked in tourism industry. So our industry minister, because of their own state portfolio and the strongness, they are becoming minister. आप मिनिस्टर की बैकग्राउंड तो ये होना चाहिए कि ये should be, you know, BTech, MTech, BSc, MSc, doctorate people who will come and serve the country.
I'm sure that once we will have the change in some democratic process, we should have the technocrats should be there. Thank you very much, Dr. Ghosh, for giving your time and giving tough questions, but answers you have given very nicely, which I wanted, that the people should understand that it is not so gloomy. And it's not that everything what we are listening, the reality is very difficult and different. I will just give an example before I will move to our next panelist. We are ready to give the indemnity to a foreign company, Pfizer and Moderna, but we have refused to give that immunity earlier to our own Indian company. But this is the reason. That's why even MSME or big corporates cannot compete with any foreign companies, because we have a double standard when we are talking to the thing. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Again, I am coming back to your own point, because it is also happening because of that reason. Because the minister in charge or the top level, they have to have their experience how to handle the pandemic, how to handle this, you know, pharmaceutical जो एक position, जो foresight है ना, जो 6 महीना बाद क्या होने वाला है या 1 साल बाद क्या होने वाला है, वो foresight हमारे पास नहीं है. That's why, you know, the second pandemic is so heavy. For the last 6 months, we have supplied oxygen in exports highest in last 14 years. In the last 6 months, we have given you know, drugs to 154 countries. Today, we don't have any drug to serve our own people.
Yes, that's the
ground reality. If you can say anything, you know, you will be Pakistani or you will be, you know.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ghosh. Next time, definitely we will take you for some other platform, and then definitely we will discuss with you many other points which are still unanswered. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite and introduce my next guest, and he's Mr. R.K. Jain. Mr. R.K. Jain is the chairman of IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He is the managing director, Sara Chem India Private Limited, Navi Mumbai. He is the master of chemistry of 1976 batch from Ujjain University, specialization in chemistry of drugs. He has developed import substitute for synthetic yarn industry. The product is branded as Sarasil, a high-tech release agent which has been accepted very well in the industry in spite of tough competition from foreign brands and cheaper local supplies. His company, Sarachem, as on day, is the largest and most reputed manufacturers of especially aerosol products for synthetic yarn producing industries. He is widely traveled world over to attend conferences and seminars. He led business delegations to China, South Korea, and Sri Lanka. He is fond of traveling and music and always in the forefront to promote new entrepreneurs. He is founder member of Fellow of Indian History and Philosophy of Science, FIHPS. He is also the member of Aerosol Promotion Council of India. Welcome, Mr. R.K. Jain, and sorry that I have to take the questions because Dr. Ghosh has to go, and you are kind enough to allow that. Now, Mr. R.K. Jain, you have heard both our earlier panelists, Professor Dr. R. Gopal as well as Dr. Ghosh. They have explained about the MSME. You are running your own industry, and you are one of the pioneer in your own field. Now, we would like to know from you the COVID returns impact on MSME. Mr. R.K. Jain, please.
Good morning, everybody. And I would like to compliment Mr. Goyal for selecting today's topic, which is very important, the effect of COVID lockdowns and COVID-19 on the MSME sector. Friends, as we all know, the second surge of COVID-19 pandemic has been more devastating than the first. It has also appeared to be different from the last year's surge in several ways. The infection is spreading at a faster pace in every age group. With approximately 63 million MSME in India, the sector showcases a great opportunity of being integrated into the global supply chain with the capability to create more than 110 million jobs, contributing to nearly 30% of the country's GDP and around half of the country's exports, and also contributing significantly in terms of innovations. The Indian MSME sector has shown its continued resilience towards economic shocks and adversities. Here, I would like to say the investment versus job creation. The MSME sector provides 5 times more jobs vis-a-vis investment in the corporate sector because of less automation, less dependence on the workforce. So they create more jobs. They are the job creators of the nation. The COVID-19 has jolted the Indian economy as well, including its SMEs. The COVID-19 first wave and the national lockdown implemented to contain it during March to May 2020 gave an unprecedented blow to the vibrant MSME sector, which had the adaptability to emerge and work continuously under constraints, challenges of various kinds, such as lack of finance, funding, and attracting and retaining qualified workforce. Here, I would like to give an example. When this pandemic spread in our country was net importer of PPE kits and masks, and there was a great shortage of these products. Within 4 to 5 months' time, many people, many industries in North India, especially around Delhi, they have imported automatic machines to make PPE kits and masks. And within shortest possible time, India became the exporter of these products with surplus supply within the country, and still that position exists. That is the, the vibrancy of the MSME sector, because all these products were made under MSME sector. That is the vibrancy of the MSME sector to face the challenges and to exploit the business opportunities in the toughest time. This is what has happened. India's economy, which was showing signs of recovery in the early 2021 after the first COVID-19 surge, has now been hit by the second wave of pandemic. Multiple states are enforcing lockdowns of varying severity. It was good that Maharashtra has not locked down the industry. And basically all the industries, big and small, they have been functioning. with almost 80% capacity, I would say. The emergence of COVID-19 wave was unexpected and SME were ill prepared because the national lockdown was very sudden. Overnight it was declared, and from the very next day, the industry was asked to close down. As it is hardly recovered from the blow received from the first wave, the second wave of COVID-19 is already making a devastating impact on the SME sector, which has become fragile due to the onslaught of COVID-19 first wave, despite the inherent strength and flexibility, adaptability, and modest organization structure, effective bonding between owner and the employees. Today's SME sector across the country are facing lower productivity, low cash flow, resulting in cutting of wages and employment, comprising with obsolete technology and unskilled or semi-skilled labor, and therefore more vulnerable to supply and demand shocks. I would like to tell one thing, that India's corporate sector, the big industry, solely depends on their supply to MSME sector. That is very interesting. And when MSME sector gets affected, the big industrial houses, they face the heat. Many big industries are facing shortage of their supply, their raw material, some of the components, because those are being made in the MSME sector. COVID-19 first and second wave both have precisely generated supply as well demand shocks to SMEs as well to the large sector. Overall, the effect of lockdowns will be borne by the SME, but some of the own account enterprises may survive and some self-financed may even escape the brunt altogether. Now, as I know, I would not say all, but most of the MSME sector, they depend on the borrowed funds. And that takes the chunk of their profitability. When lockdown implemented, business was closed. Their earnings were stopped and they were facing severe problem how to repay the EMIs, how to repay the loan. Government has postponed the repayment of loan, but not given any relief on the interest front. In fact, it was just postponement of the payment, but no relief in. That has resulted even severe problems to MSME sector because the interest burden came with a still bigger chunk of interest liability. Government has begun assessing the impact of the second wave of infections on different sectors and is looking at providing support at an appropriate time to segments requiring fiscal help. RBI has announced term liquidity facility of 50,000 crore with tenure up to 3 years to ease access to the credit for providers of emergency health services such as vaccines, manufacturers, importers, suppliers of vaccine and priority medical devices, hospitals, dispensaries, pathology labs, etc. Now here I would like to say one point, that when government expects industry to introduce these emergency services, to venture out in the emergency services, they don't provide any relief as far as the taxation is concerned. You know, the mask and PPP kits still attracts 12% GST. There was severe shortage of oxygen until last month. And there was huge import of oxygen concentrators from abroad because it is not made in our country so far. And when you import the concentrators in bulk, you have to pay 12% GST. What I mean to say, that if government wants to promote the industry and government wants to create an environment where products of emergency services or health sectors are available plenty in our country, government should waive off the taxation part, which government is not doing, and that is adversely affecting the industry. No, we have been talking by the earlier speaker has spoke about the curtailment of imports from China. Yes, Certain sectors have got the benefit because of this curtailment, because the finished products or the junk products which used to be imported are no more imported from that country. But the blanket curtailment or the blanket difficulties to import basic raw material has resulted lot of hardship to the MSME sector, especially because they solely depend on the supplies of imported raw material, which may not be available in our country. And that has resulted severe difficulties and the curtailment of their production because of non-availability of key raw material, which used to be imported earlier. In fact, our company have been facing this problem. And because of this pandemic world over, global scenario, the imports have become 6 times expensive. The freights have gone up 6 times expensive. So the import costs have gone up, and the heat is being felt by the MSME sector more than the corporate sector, because they have got the limitations to increase their finished product prices. They may not be getting that kind of acceptance in the market. So they have to bear the cost increase. Now, this is the real serious problem government should look into. In respect of small businesses and MSME restructured earlier, lending institutions have been permitted as a one-time measure to review the working capital sanctioned limits based on a reassessment of the working capital cycle and margins. Now, the challenges which MSME sector faces in this condition is the focus on core competitiveness. I would like to give 2 examples. See, the one problem with MSME sector is to diverse in without having the control on the competence. Now, Coca-Cola is still known as soft drink maker. IBM is still known as computer maker. Same way, MSME sector should think of core competence and concentrate in the products where they have the control of manufacturing as well marketing. Business purification. This COVID pandemic has created a scenario where you need to purify your business to sustain in the market. What you used to do earlier, what you used to, the way you used to run your enterprise will no longer be applicable. You have to have the business purification by realignment of everything, right from production to workforce to marketing. The biggest challenges which MSME faces in our country is dependence on corporate sector to source their raw material and to supply their finished product. That is the biggest challenge. And here they face a lot of problem of funding, because when they deal with the corporate sector, they have to have ready funds to source their raw material. When they deal with the corporate sector to supply their product, they have to offer liberal credits. So here the MSME sector is very adversely affected because of this situation. Due to COVID, many big marketing outlets have closed down. As we still know that most of the malls are closed down, most of the market shopping complexes are closed down. And many MSME sectors producing household goods are also closed down because they have no outlet to supply their product. And the supplies which they earlier made to these sector, because of their close down, they are not getting their money back. So it's a double blow. No outlet available to supply their products, and no funding is coming back after they supplied before COVID. So this has resulted very severe complications to the MSME sector in our country. I give a very simple example, the closure of Big Bazaar. Now it is taken over by somebody. Now Big Bazaar used to source most of its products from the MSME sector. Now since they closed down, I know a couple of my friends making few products supplying to Big Bazaar and these kind of outlets. Their entire business is affected. 90% of their product they are not able to sell, and millions of rupees are stuck up because of the closure of these outlets. They are not able to get back. So these are the things which has resulted adverse results to the MSME sector due to COVID impact, whether it is COVID first wave or second wave. Now, after first wave, in the say third quarter of 2020, they started recovering because market started opening up. And all of a sudden, again, when the 2021 second wave started and again lockdown implemented, they could not recover at all. And many of them, I know many of my friends having industry in MSME sector, they have decided to keep it closed or close down permanently and leave for good. This is what is happening to MSME sector. There is a severe lack of help from the government side. Now, government should leave the habit of tax-hungry approach. They want to recover maximum tax. Every month they recover 1 lakh rupees of GST. They mop up GST as 1 lakh rupees. Sorry.
1 lakh crore.
1 lakh crore as GST every month. Fuel prices are shooting up every day, resulting the higher transportation cost, higher production cost, and MSME is taking the heat of this, bearing the heat of it. I don't know what makes government not to reduce the local taxes to reduce the fuel prices. Every cost, every prices of every commodity will come down if they reduce the fuel prices. And it is solely in the government hand, because I don't know why they want to mop up more and more taxes by way of GST, by way of VAT and all that. Simply if they reduce local taxes, and they can do it because the volume of fuel consumption is going up. So their tax generation will not be reduced. They can comfortably reduce the taxation, but they are not doing it, allowing the fuel prices to shoot up every day, resulting in the severe complications in the manufacturing sector, especially the MSME sector. Now, GST 18%, still it is on the very high side. And many essential items, as I said, mask and PPE and oxygen concentrator attracts 12% GST, which is still on a very high side. Now, government has announced postponement of EMIs, but not any concession on the interest part. Government should consider reducing the interest burden so that industry can survive. Simply offering loan at 8% is not the solution. And loan is also not easily available, as Mr. Ghosh said. Bank wants collateral because they want to have surety of their funding. They don't want any NPN feature. So many MSME are not eligible to get any funding from the banks, and they have to, they have to have shortage of funds. Industry is lucky if they have their own funds, but most of them, they don't have.
Okay. Time, paucity of the time. I'm running off the time.
No, you can ask some questions if you have. I will try to reply.
But only one question, because the time is very short, and 1 minute only. Yes. Don't you think that the gain is basically for the big corporates, not the MSME? Because if you see, the Sensex is going up every day. All the big corporates are earning money. That's why the Sensex is going up, while the MSME, as you have mentioned, or Mr. Ghosh, as Dr. Ghosh has mentioned, is in doldrums.
Mr. Lal, I would say about Sensex, not all the industries, whether big or MSME, is doing well. The Sensex is going up because of the better working of few sectors like pharma. That decides the Sensex, not all the sectors. Only certain sectors are doing well. Pharma sector is really doing well. In COVID, they have done still better. That is the reason of Sensex going up. In fact, it is not the genuine indication of the health of the industry, let me tell you. There are so many things which I cannot tell over here.
I got the answer, what I wanted to know from you. Thank you very much. The paucity of time, that's why I definitely, I promise you, we will take you once again, and we will have a more discussion and more questions, because you have given so much details to us. It requires lots of questions. I have prepared many questions right now, but at the paucity of time. Thank you very much. So viewers, viewers, you have seen today the condition of MSME, whatsoever has been projected by the government or by other agencies. That is one way, yes, as Dr. Ghosh mentioned, that this is a very, that only those MSMEs who really wants to work, they will get the positive returns. But the condition, effect of the condition is today, because of the pandemic or because of the COVID returns, the MSMEs, because there is no demand, because of the lockdown, they could not supply, they are not getting the raw materials. You have heard everything what our very, very expert panelists have mentioned. And that's why our program is to give the expert opinion. We do not want a tutu meme that we have just listened, and now it is up to you to decide whether the MSME has been affected or not, or whether we are still in that gloomy picture. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. R. Gopal. Thank you very much, Mr. R.K. Jain, and thank you very much, Dr. Ghosh, for giving your views. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day a new topic. And today's program, which has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, Newsgaon se Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day new topic. But we have already started for last 3 weeks a evening program in Hindi for half an hour, where we meet and discuss with a achiever. And today our chief guest is Professor Dr. M. Shantaram Shetty. Is MS Ortho, FRCS, FACS, FICS. Is the Pro-Chancellor, Nitte University, Mangalore. So we will be talking to him, asking about his unfolded life cycle, life journey, which he has started. So we will be discussing today at 4:30 p.m. So please tune in for Kal Aaj Aur Kal Lal Goyal Ke Sang at 4:30 p.m. Thank you very much once again to you all, and thank you all the viewers. Thank you very much.